Hey, YouTube! We are here and we are about to start a new campaign. And I'm thinking, let's go to Mortal Empires and let's go with the Big Daddy, the one of the original characters in the Total War Warhammer 2 when it was first released. Let's go with Malekith.
I seek my birthright.
He seeks his birthright. We're going to see if we can't make our way back to Ulthuan, take over the seat of the High Elves. They think that they are stronger than us. They certainly are not. So let's go make them pay with Malekith. So what's nice, the Dark Elves and High Elves were actually updated way back in the Sundering update. I believe that was the one before the Great Plan update. And I'm sure they got a few tweaks here and there with the Last Kiss update. And we're going to try out a few things. I know we want to have as balanced of an army as possible. It's highly encouraged with SFO. So we're going to try to make our army as balanced as possible. We're trying to get some Dark Shards in there, probably some monsters, a little bit of cavalry. So let's go ahead and watch the opening here, and then we'll get into it.
Hail, dread scourge Malekith. You rule over a splintered people. Your realm is in decay. And there are many vile creatures who will attempt to stop your advance. The Druki are fractured, yet many still know loyalty to your rule. Others, however, do not, and need bringing to heel. If they do not bend the knee to the Witch King, then they should be destroyed utterly. Beyond the northern watchtowers lurk the savage tribes of men, petty worshippers of the dark powers. Their ceaseless attacks upon your realm must end with their annihilation. In the meantime, you should unify the Druki through either statecraft or by destroying would-be opposition. All will bow to the Witch King. All will yield to Malekith.
Okay. So our main source of income are going to be our slaves, I believe. So that's something we'll have to try to increase as much as try to get as many slaves as possible. We've also got those black arcs that we were dealing with in our Luther Harkon Let's Play and during our campaign there. So we're going to see if we can't get one of those black arcs as quickly as possible. So our chapter objective here: Vengeance Incarnate. The frozen lands of Naggaroth are a far cry from the glittering beauty of Ulthuan, but it is the Druki home now, so they will claim as much of it as possible and forge a new kingdom from the chilled wastes. So we eventually want to make our way over here to Ulthuan, to the Vortex, to essentially the Great High Elf Donut. We want this land as much as possible. We're going to get here as quickly as we can. I know we've got Marathi down here. She's probably going to invade Ulthuan pretty fast unless she's stopped. And we've also got, so we've got a lesser Dark Elf faction down here. I believe it's just Clarkarond. So they've got possession of Hagrief, which we want. We've also got these Broken Chains orcs, who are definitely going to declare. They tend to declare war on Malice, who we then join war with, or they declare war on us. We'll have to see. We've also got down here somewhere. We've got the Slaughterhorn tribe, led by. Oh, how am I blanking on his name? The great brass bull, Torox. Torox the brass bull down here. We're going to have to deal with him as well. But for now, let's go ahead and deal with the Skaven that are infesting the Iron Mountains and take them out. So let's move Malekith over here and get some more Dark Shards into our army. And then throw our sorceress into the army as well. Use a little bit of extra magic. Malekith has some dark magic. We can go take a look real quick at his skill line. He's got dark magic on his side. It's pretty damaging. The Blade Wind is going to be really useful for us. The chill wind is not bad. It's not really high damaging. It's more like slowing and messing with enemy formations that's going to be useful. And it also, I think I mentioned it slows them quite a lot, so that's going to be super useful to let our dark shards get more attacks in. The Doom Bolt is not bad for single entities. I think it also medium strike area, so it's decent for tightly packed unit formations. The Soul Stealer is going to steal the show for us. Its main thing is going to, so it's going to basically sap heavily damaged units and also draw that damage into us to heal us. So that's going to be super useful for us. So we're going to work our way through his magic line. We're going to be getting a lot in the red line. We're going to work our way up to Lightning Strike, potentially Renowned and Feared, but it might not be overly necessary. We're going to get him on his Black Dragon Seraphon eventually. I want to work my way through all of these. Those quest battles can be interesting. The Circlet of Iron, they've made a lot worse, and I've never actually done the Destroyer or the Supreme Spell Shield in SFO Grimhammer, so I'm rather curious how those play out. And I think we're going to, this unlocks after we've enabled, let's see, which King Authority generated from major settlements to plus 10%. Okay, so we'll have to get the Dark Phoenix Rising rather, on him as well. Enables military ordinances on Malekith, so that'll be over here. I'll go over that then in a second. And we're probably going to go with Tyranny because I think that ends up better than War Leader, even though we get a reduced upkeep and some, I think, some military buffs or just some passive military. Yeah, so a little bit of military buffs. Characters faction wide when attacking, which is not bad. So this is some post-battle loot, but I think this for making sure that our public order is in check from all those slaves is going to be actually a lot better for us than anything else. So we're probably going to go down the Tyrant route rather than the War Leader route, but we'll see where we're at when we get there. What changed for the Dark Elves is, for Malekith specifically, he has the Glory of Malekith. So this is something that he can spend, so he gets this currency, the Witch King's Authority, which we can either spend on the Glory of Malekith. So these are some, let's see, some buffs for units, some buffs for Malekith himself and other armies, and then eventually once we get Malekith's, I believe this is something that we need specifically. Let me check. Ordnance and ordinances. I think that was choose anything from Harmony will lock anything in destruction. So this is when we have a lot of the, so this is way later in the campaign we're going to have to go over. We'll get into this, but that's something we'll also go into. The technology tree has also been modified a bit. We can start basically anywhere, essentially, as long as we have enough authority and gold to go right into it. And we've also got a few more of these lines. So we've got the uniting the Druki, Absolute Ruler. Once we've got Naggarond fully upgraded, I believe Fortress City is fully upgraded. Just check real quick. Let's see, Dark Elf Tower, Fortress City, yeah. So that enables infrastructure ordinances for Malekith. So that's, yeah, so that's the infrastructure ordinance, and the military ordinance, I believe, is when he's military ordinance. So that's when he's got the Dark Phoenix Rising. So that'll unlock some stuff that'll unite the Druki for us and give us some pretty good buffs. Then we got Places of Power once we own certain things. So the Vaults of Quentex, Oak of Ages, Temple of Vol, Marienburg Docks, Hall of Dragons, Gate of Underworld Sea, Gate to the Underworld Sea, sorry. That gives us some buffs as well. And then we've got these guys which require Kingdom. Oh, okay, so this will unlock once we occupy Lothern, reclaiming Ulthuan. Then we can require technologies, reclaiming Ulthuan, which will give us some kingdom buffs here. It looks like these are all the High Elf factions, so we'll be able to claim a bunch of these kingdoms and then call ourselves the Dark Phoenix King once we've claimed all these kingdoms. We've also got Child of Venarian, which we can purchase, which gives passive ability Blood Frenzy to own armies, and passive Fear, along with leadership against the Warriors of Chaos and Norsca, so that's very much endgame stuff. And this is also Conquer the World. So if we claim a bunch of things, Altdorf, Karazakarak, the Awakening. Oh, we have to claim from the Vampire Counts. That's interesting. Or the Vampire Coast, rather. And the Oak of Ages. So we've got a lot of things to conquer as Malekith. So let's start out with Reaver's Embark to give ourselves a bit of a hero action chance cost reduction, or a bit of hero action cost reduction, the Black Arc growth, and the income from Black Arcs.
Curse this snow.
And we'll eventually, if we go over here, we don't have any Black Arcs because we need to enact the sacrifice to Mathland to do that, and we don't have enough slaves. Obviously, we're going to be working our way towards getting enough slaves here. So let's end the turn and move on. The first Skaven army we face is probably going to be our most major challenge here. It's something that we are going to have to. It's not insurmountable, but it's something we have to be careful for because, again, since SFO changed the AI of the the enemy AI's behavior, they'll actually spread their armies out instead of clumping. So they might try to wrap around us, so we'll have to just keep an eye on that. So let's go to Har Kaldra. Take a look what we have here. So it's a decisive victory. They have a lot of units. They'll be able to spread really wide. We have a lot of, so we've got a lot of dark shards. That's going to be super helpful for us. Not a lot of infantry to hold them back, but this Cold Wind Chariot will do a lot of damage. That all being said, I don't... So, you know what? I'm going to attempt it. I'm not usually the best at these fights, but we're going to see if we can't manage to do better than normal. So we have this area over here, which I'm going to be showing in greater detail once we start deploying, that we're actually going to use as kind of our basing our killing field. So we're going to be focusing on that area. We're going to send our chariots up front to distract as much as possible and get a better idea of where they're at. But that's not a bad starting. Winds of Magic, we'll hold on to it. So this area right here, we're going to use this as our kind of slaughtering grounds. So we'll put our Reaper Bolt Thrower right here. Switch it to infantry. They don't have any monsters. Put it on toggle to guard mode. We'll throw 2 of our crossbows over here. One of our crossbows here looking that way, and 2 of our crossbows kind of like that. Just readjust these crossbows. And then we'll throw some spears over here. We'll throw Malekith way out there. He's going to be our main defender there. We'll put the Blackguard out there and another unit of spears over here.
We are ready.
Because we know they're going to be coming out of these forests, so we want to kind of be back away from that forest. And because these have an arc, we'll be able to hit them pretty okay. And that should be good there. Let's go ahead and move our chariots over here, and that can fire at will. These guys can fire at will until they get closer, and then we'll make some better decisions. We'll put her kind of over here. She'll be able to kind of, we want her to be hitting with that fireball as often as possible. Okay, so and then Malekith also has the Power of Darkness, which will damage some units, but also increase our...
Chariots! At once! Advance!
increase our ability to regain some winds of magic, so we'll do that eventually. So we're going to send in our chariots here to do some damage. Skaven slaves we don't care about. So we want the chariots charging through.
Forward to destruction. Death is coming. Murder awaits. Going. Advance, Druki. Kill everything.
So we want that Blessing of Filth to wear off a bit. We don't want... Put that on clan rats. All they got is clan rats, really. Yeah, so that's kind of what we were expecting here.
Attack!
Okay, these are Night Runners.
Chariots!
Kind of want to break them quickly.
Chariots! Suffering for all! On to slaughter! Moving out!
Okay, we don't want them to be caught out. I mean, they're only Skaven slave slingers, so they're not going to be the worst for us.
No mercy! Chariots!
We also need these chariots to kind of run back a little bit.
Malekith, I lust for slaughter. Hear my words.
The merciless host! By Cain! The merciless host! Dead! Carnage awaits!
The Witch King.
Sorceress of blood!
Chariots! Cold-blooded killers! Dark sharks! Massacre them! Bolt throwers! Destroy!
Dark sorceress!
My blade hungers! Dark sharks! Going! Understood. No mercy!
Onward! Striking out!
Blackguards! Carnage awaits! Eager for battle!
Oh, before I forget, let's just make sure they're all on guard mode and that they don't retreat from a fight. Pull those chariots back. Malekith is doing a great job holding. He doesn't even have to really fight, he just has to sort of distract. So most of our damage, most of their guys are coming over here, so let's make sure that they shoot the crap out of them.
Sennu!
On to slaughter!
Move the chariots back.
Battle ready!
Let's throw some ice in there and make sure that they're running away from us.
Dark shards! Slaughter them!
Make sure those Skaven slaves are getting shot up.
Sorceress of blood!
We'll send a fireball at their lord.
Sarathan!
We'll also increase our winds of magic by damaging our bolt throwers. That's totally fine. We don't expect those bolt throwers to be getting much in the way that they'll need saving too much. Let's go ahead and turn our dark shards, have them help out a bit.
Malekith,
Once I've got the chill wind, I'll be able to send that in there as well.
Bolt throwers! By Cain! Dark shards!
I think these Skaven slaves are thinking about coming at us from that angle. Let's make sure they get shot to pieces. One of those, this Dark Shard unit's going to get hit by them, but that's not a big deal. We more want to make sure that this Dread Spear doesn't get wiped out.
Malekith,
or that it doesn't retreat. But it looks like those that they're dealing with it really well.
Chariots!
So the chariots help out a little bit over there.
Sorceress of Grund!
We don't even need the chill wind.
Dark shards! Bloody murder!
Annihilate them! Attend me! Fear me!
Okay, that's good. They should have army losses. There we go. Mass rout. Perfect. So I don't think we took very much damage. Look, the Dread Spear got a little bit damaged, but we didn't lose. We didn't lose any chariots, which is really good. We hardly had the Dread Spear damaged. The Sorceress and Malekith will get revived. MVP we've got, obviously, our Reaper Bolt Thrower, but these guys were doing really good work as well, so I'm super happy with that. And we'll be able to take over this province pretty quickly. So long as we keep having that sort of performance.
All shall kneel before
So
me.
now the question, loot and occupy or simply occupy? This will debuff us pretty considerably, and we're not going to be back over at Dark Capital to do anything about it anytime soon. We have a lot of money, so I'm not overly worried about money. So I think the better idea is occupy, since we don't have to worry about too much cash flow at the moment.
King of the true
So let's go ahead and get us some Dark Elf Manors, which is going to increase our growth, and the Dark Hold. We'll upgrade that.
cruelty knows no limits.
We'll go with Root March or Chill Wind. We want to work our way to Blade Wind as quickly as possible. That's going to be really useful. And on the Sorceress, let's go Fireball and Burning Head, because we really want that infantry damage.
Vengeful.
So we've got 5 Dark Shards. Let's get 3 more, and then we'll demolish the building that generates them. And go with Battle as Business to get that increase income from raiding and post-battle loot. And then once we're able to, we're going to demolish this. Let me just double check. Oh, so we can't get the spears. Spears don't come until TL3, so oh, we're actually going to need this for a little while longer. I was thinking we could get away with getting rid of it, but actually we can't.
King Malekith.
See, it's something else that SFO changed, that you're not actually able to recruit Dread Spears until you get a Tier 3 settlement. So you really need these military buildings if you want anything. So that might be something we build in Har Keldra or the Altar of Ultimate Darkness. I'm leaning towards this guy. Maybe the Altar, we'll have to see. But something we'll have to keep in mind. Some more Dark Shards. We're really going to need them. We're going to work our way towards... Okay, see, yeah, here we go. It's Hag Grief who declares war on the Broken Chains to drag me into a war. And I'd like to stay... I don't mind. The Broken Chains aren't super strong, so they're not... It's not like they're going to be doing much against us. It's just annoying. Like, why do you, way over here, decide to declare war against somebody on the opposite... Literally the opposite side of the map? If we take a look... we'll have to take a look here on the map in a bit during our next turn, but they're literally opposite sides. No non-aggressions yet. We can wait on non-aggressions. What I really want is a non-aggression trade, what have you, pact with... Okay, so we got their quest issued, Hotek's Levy. So this is for the Armor of Midnight if we get capture 5,000 battle captives. My king, the scrolls of Akardi reveal things to me. Hotek, the renegade smith who forged your armor, was he as skilled as the legends proclaim? Do the runes of spite in your armor fade? I think they do. His sigils have an expiry, and that day comes. Why do I tell you this, Your Majesty? Because you have my soul cage. Drench the sigils in the blood of your enemies, and the levy will be paid, the armor restored, and perhaps you'll grant me the boon of returning my soul. So we'll have to work our way towards those captives. So now let's go with some Dread Spears so they can kind of hold the line again, for our Dark Shards. So I was hoping to get rid of this, but we can't really. Let's take a look at the people's attitudes towards us.
Pains, I have little
Hargonath, let's
time
go with
or
a
love
military
for
access
diplomacy.
and give me some money.
Very well.
Thank you.
Bloodthirsty.
We're eventually going to attack these Norskins up here. They're not really a huge threat, but they will be eventually problematic, so we'll have to get rid of them.
Favored of the Witch King.
Karen Carr, even though it says they're neutral, they do tend to not like us too much. I think the only ones we could probably get a trade agreement with is Clarkarond.
Vicious warrior.
But they're a little bit annoyed with us because we have treaties with Hargonath. And trespass? We trespassed against them? I don't remember trespassing against you. Liars! So that's we'll have to deal with. Eventually we'll probably confederate Malice in Hagagreeth, but he's not gonna...
allow haste or rage
Wow,
to
he's already
dictate
almost
business.
willing to do it now. But I don't want to do it now because I'd rather have him take that entire area so I can disband him over there. So if we look at the map, literally one corner and I'm in the opposite corner. So I'm literally across the entire map from him, and yet he declares war on these guys, knowing about them literally because I'm over here and I told him. So let's recruit our Dread Spears and keep moving on taking over the whole province. Now what we'll probably do is we'll probably end up raiding a little bit, or rather we're going to be sacking that Rakdo Scourge to the south, because we don't really need it too much. We don't really need it to... so that's probably going to be a Grey Seer, which are just wonderful. Okay, so we know in SFO there is this capacity system where you can have faction caps based off of the buildings how many buildings you build, a la the Tomb Kings. Army caps, which is a more complicated system based off of the higher the tier unit, the different caps they have on higher tier units in the own army. The faction-wide and army caps, so it kind of combines these two systems, and then the no caps for other unit mods. Choose this if you are using any mods that add custom units. So I'm going to go ahead and go with just faction caps. That's kind of my favorite way to play this with SFO. Take a look. Yeah, that looks... it's Great Seer, alright. It won't tell me what kind, but it doesn't look like you have very many upgrade spells. So let's go to the Altar of Ultimate Darkness. We're already suffering a little bit monetarily. And I bet he's got the old Warp Lightning, my favorite, and more Warp Lightning. Gosh, Warp Lightnings, man, they are pretty devastating. Let me tell you, they are pretty devastating. look at that is look at the scorched. How many seconds they have that debuff? Wow, that's kind of funny. 13, 13, 13. Skavens are all about the 13. Let's throw the number 13. Let's throw the Banner of Eternal Flame on the Black Guard of Naggarond and just auto-resolve this fight, since it's not something that will really take us down. And we're not going to get any slaves, we're just going to occupy.
Watch your back tail. Yes.
Oh boy.
I am the Witch King.
That guy's going to cause us problems. Luckily, he can't cross because this area, so we're just going to have to go up and take him out.
King of the Druki.
You can't cross because that red circle is the area of influence, so they have to deal with this area of influence. They can't just walk right through it, so they will have to go after the Altar of Ultimate Darkness.
Malekith.
And let's throw Power of Darkness and Blade Wind on Malekith.
This worm cannot be trusted.
And we'll go with Kindle Flame to increase their weakness to fire, and another Burning Head. And then Malekith, we will hire a couple more Dread Spears and upgrade the Altar of Ultimate Darkness. So we have the money for it. Let's see, Hargonath just has to take over this area of Grund. It looks like they're not at...
Pains
No, they are at war with Grond, so they just got to take over this area of Grond, and then we can start trading with them, which is going to increase our income, which is really good for us. Let's go ahead and pass to end the turn here and see what... It looks like they're going over there for whatever reason. Why are they going to the east? You want to go west. Take over the Great Arena. Take over this areas. Take over all of Grond. You have to really tell the AI what to do. They're not this... Again, they're not the sharpest tool in the shed. So we're working our way towards the Holtex levy. We've got stability throughout the province, which is going to help us a little bit, but it's not going to get us quite to where we got to be. I think that's... Yeah, it's the Skaven corruption that's really messing with us here. So let's go up north and try to take out this army.
Death follows with
Get rid of this guy.
fight for me or die.
Auto-resolve him away.
My cruelty knows no limits.
And then we'll go back to the Altar of Ultimate Darkness so we can save our economy a little bit. And with Malekith, since he just got the Blade Wind, I'm going to hold off on going through this. I want to get down here and get to Lightning Strike. So let's go with Infamous Raider. And then we might, let's see, 12. And then we might end up going, I think we're just going to go to Dread. 25%. And this is what, 6%? So this gives us some looted settlement, increase to looted settlement income, increase to our raiding income, and increase to our sacking settlement income. Honestly, I might throw them all into the Infamous Raider. But the casualties, that'll be really useful for Hotek's Levy and to get more slaves for post battles. So this is a no-brainer. Burning Head, Hotek's Blessing to get that increase in power reserves and speed for our Fire Sorceress. And so we can get rid of this and build it over here and build that up. So for Naggarond, we go over into the manager here. We're going to be getting this Sawyer, the marble quarry, which will increase our income, get us some marble for trade, but most importantly, minus 20% for all buildings, all regions in province. So 25%, 30%. So that's going to be huge for us. We want to get this right away, so we'll demolish and build that. And Harkaldra will be upgraded as soon as we can, but the next thing we'll be upgrading is going to be the is Naggarond itself to tier 2, because Dark Shards are really good, and I was thinking about going that direction with Malekith, but I might have him stick with, or rather these Shades are really good, but I'm wondering if I want to stick with the Dark Shards on Malekith. And the reason why is because let's see, the Shielded Dark Shards, same range, it's just they've got about 9 less damage. Because Malekith is eventually going to go after the High Elves, and the High Elves cause us problems. The High Elves have better range than us, and they have better archers than us. So we'll have to find some ways to deal with that. Otherwise, I don't think there were... I know they added this, the Manticore Lords. So these are a legendary unit, lethal poison, glass cannons. They have huge weapon strength, 175, but only 4 units. They got that lethal poison. Looks like they've got a hex, some bombs. Interesting. So these will be interesting to play with. These are only available to Malekith. So we'll have to make a decision what kind of armies we want with... Whoop, don't want to demolish that. What kind of armies we want with Malekith. Let me just really quickly... Let's take a look at his skill lines real quick. Shaftmaster Dark Shards, Black Orc Corsairs, Reaper Bolt Throwers. So I think it's under, yeah, Shades. The missile strength for Shades, Dark Riders, and Scourge Runner Chariots. So it's just missile strength. It doesn't give them more ammunition. Let's see. Shades, Dark Riders, Doom for Warlocks. This gives them the range plus 15%.
Lord of the Black
Let's take a look real quick here. I'm curious. The Shades have a shorter range. The Great Sword Shades have an even shorter range. The highest range Dark Shades are the Dual Weapon Shades. Looks like they've also got bleeding on their missiles. Great Sword Shades have stagger. Regular Shades are just regular Shades. So they've made them a lot more unique in the way that they operate. Oh, wow. Oh, they're all Master Ambushers. Honestly, Shades might be the way to go. We'll see. We'll not make any rash. We'll not make any choices like that for quite a while.
of the Chuki, leader of the merciless host.
So they want a defensive alliance. No, thank you. We don't want part in anybody who wants a piece of Harganeth.
No friends, only victims.
No peace for the Skaven. We're gonna burn down your hovels is what we're gonna do. We're gonna cause, sorry about that. We're gonna cause some significant damage. Non-aggression, no thank you. The Brayhards come out of the dark forests, fetid jungles, and lonely deserts. They emerge, the horned ones that stand upright in a vile parody of man. They are the cloven ones, the children of chaos, and they have come to tear down all civilization. The war herds are migrating and destroying everything in their path. So they're coming from the north. Joy. So that's the Jagged Horn tribe is probably coming from up there. Yep. So we'll have to deal with them eventually. Let's go down south and start doing some stuff to these Skaven.
Destruction and slaughter.
And like I said, let's go ahead and build our marble quarry
I will skin these creatures.
and create the halls of mustering. Actually, it might be worthwhile to wait. Let's just do it. The swordsmen, the bleak swords might be worthwhile. So the bleak swords have also been given anti-infantry.
I most certainly will.
Harganeth, what would you like? Military alliance? Oh no, not that. But hey, how about a trade agreement? You like those, don't you? Those are beneficial to everybody. See how much money we can make off of them. Just a trade agreement? No. Let's be nice. Let's go with 750 gold. Thank you. Harganeth. We will be eventually confederating Harganeth. We're going to try to confederate as many of the Dark Elves as we possibly can. Oh, they're probably going to loop around and go for Naggarond. Oh, the rats, the rats, the rats.
Words have great power.
So we could become friends with the Norskins. I kind of prefer just to burn them. And the faction was destroyed. Congratulations, probably the Norskins
The true
took them out. Let's go down to Rakdos Gorge and do some damage. So let's see, lots of infantry, lots of slaves. A little bit of ranged. I bet it's going to be the same. It's open field. Let's fight this fight. We'll be able to show off a little bit with Malekith. His we can show off Blade Wind. We can show off the Burning Head. We can do a whole lot of stuff. So that's not going to be bad for us. The only thing that we have a problem right now, this map, is this Skaven construction right here. Looks like we're in the underground. Let's try to gamble that 2 up. And yeah, 26. Nice. So this Skaven construction is going to mess with us a little bit. But I think we can just go ahead and set up over here.
Dealers in debt.
Set that to infantry.
We are ready.
Set up our archers like that. Put them at a bit of an angle. I have a feeling they're going to try to like loop around. So we'll throw a few dark shards or some dread spears like this. Rest of our dread spears up front. Actually, what we can do, since Malekith is going to be up front, what we can do is move these guys a bit
The true king.
and put these dread spears over here to cut off the flank. Let's throw these over here. They have an aura about them. Sons of Naggarond. The duration is constant around self, affects allies within range. So it gives them all unbreakable. So if they are here, it makes these dread spears unbreakable, which is super good for us. See if we can actually get that last. No, we're not gonna be able to get him. See if we try to get him. We're trying to get that one dread spear unit. Yeah, it'll get rid of that. So we much prefer to have these 2 dread spears be unbreakable
Dread spears.
due to his aura. That'll be really good for us.
Chariot.
We'll throw the chariots back here. They're going to be going in at some point to get some good charges in. And we'll throw our wizard, our flame sorceress over here. She's going to be doing some good work.
Malekith.
Bolt throwers.
So they got no choice but to charge right in. See what would have been their army abilities. One of the army abilities of the Skaven, the Menace Below, allows them to spawn some clan rats. What would have been a good idea is to spawn the clan rats on the Reaper Bolt Thrower to basically undermine my strategy, which is hit them from range hard, as hard as I can.
Die, weaklings.
So we're going to start peppering them with bolts right away.
Malekith.
Let's see if we can't get Malekith to go in there and throw a Blade Wind a little early.
Come forth. I depart.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. So that's the power of the Witch King right there. We'll have him
I
come
am
back.
death.
Dark shards.
Have these guys focus those clan rats. You can continue firing those night
Eager
runners.
for battle.
Get rid of those night runners. They're going to be problematic. Let's go take out these clan rats with our
Advancing.
chariots.
End them.
Sorceress of Grond! Seeking victims!
Dread spears. Dark shards.
Okay, this is actually a perfect opportunity for a burning head, so we're going to go ahead and throw down a burning head to burn a bunch of these guys.
Save my own back.
Bunch of burned Skaven right there. I'll take care of those guys. Let's make sure that they're shooting on something worthwhile.
All shall tremble.
So we actually ran out of some magic. So that,
Eager for battle.
one of the things we have to definitely pay attention to.
Or shall die.
Sorceress of Grond! Swift!
True heir of Anir.
Is that ability that we have that actually gives us... Whoa, where are you guys think you're going?
Onward! No survivors! Massacre them! Make them bleed! It is done.
Forgot to tell them to get into guard mode. Guys, get back here.
Druki, without question.
So we were focused so much on the left side of the fight, we forgot to pay attention to the right. So they're a little bit overwhelmed. It's just a bunch of slaves, so not the worst, but you know, bit of a misplay on my part.
I crave battle. Attend
We
me.
need that. We need that.
Druki, onwards to murder.
So you come back.
Battle ready. Murder awaits. Onward, dark elves.
The Witch King.
Okay, so they'll run.
Merciless warriors.
Let's have some of our
The destroyer.
guys focus over there.
Battle ready. It is done. Murder awaits. Blood will flow.
There we go. There's all the broke. They broke. They broke. That guy's gonna be shot to death here in a second.
Malekith.
That would have been a really good blade wind over here, but we kind of microed that a little bit. Didn't pay attention as much as we should have. Happens to the best of us. So we'll end the battle there. Because this is a settlement battle, they're going to be... all of their troops are going to be destroyed anyway, so it's totally fine. Burning Head was beautiful, 205 kills, and we got 185 on Malekith. 125 on the Bolt Thrower and 95 on the Chariots. So everybody did a little bit of work. Again, we just got to be careful making sure that our archers, our Dark Shards are on guard mode, and that we're paying attention to our flanks. Especially now that they've improved the AI to spread themselves out.
Victorious.
So we'll go ahead and sack this settlement. That'll give us lots of slaves, which is going to bump up our... Ooh, the death mask on Malekith. That's really good. That physical resistance and terror. A little bit of fear, all good things. We'll go ahead, put you in raid stance.
And slaughter.
And we'll move you over here. You have improved Dread Slaver. Yes, please. We will increase this and go with Flamestorm. That's going to be amazing as well to hit when we hit that. As far as what we're going to do with the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, I think the answer has to be some watchtowers and increase our Dark Elf residence. Because we're eventually going to, if we take a look at the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, we want this, the Altar of Ultimate Darkness landmark, which increases our power reserves by 3, all armies, our Lord Recruit rank +1 faction-wide, taxes +1 faction-wide, and recruit rank for all sorceresses and supreme sorceresses in all provinces, which is always good. So that's just a good passive bonus to everything sorcery based, and the Dark Elves are very sorcery based. So we have our sorceress here that's not going to be good. She's not going to get the buff from the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, but any sorceresses we get over here or supreme sorceresses as lords that we get are going to get that benefit. So I have a feeling eventually, so this is 100% going to revolt eventually. So we got slaves now, the corruption, the provincial instability, the taxes. This will eventually revolt. And it might end up being a Skaven revolt, so we're probably going to take this over next turn to minimize that.
Fear me.
as much as possible. We also have to keep an eye on the broken chains. They're going to come to Rakdos Gorge eventually and maybe make their way towards Naggarond for some raiding and some orc corrumping, as it were. So we'll go ahead and let's take a look here.
Chains, your timing
Harganeth,
is
even
poor.
they want that. So Malekith is so powerful that they already are like, well, we might want a confederation. You never know.
I am Malice.
So Malice, we just want to confederate him before he gets destroyed because Malice is actually really strong, and we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose out on Malice. We don't want to lose out on that free Black Ark. I suppose the issue is that Malice does tend to get himself killed. That's good. Well, that's a lie. It's a coin toss, really. So either he gets himself killed, or he does really well and destroys that starting Lizardman faction. It's kind of, it really all depends on what the AI is thinking that day. So let's go ahead and, you know what? We'll sack it one more time. Let's go ahead and sack Rakdos Gorge one more time. Want to resolve that fight away. Sack it. And let's go into raiding stance. And go over here.
Very well.
What we want to do... Okay, Draft Master, and the next level up we'll get Lightning Strike so that he doesn't miss out on that.
I will flay this traitor myself.
This time, let's go with Magic Reserves, because Flamestorm is really expensive, so we need the mana for it. We want to take out this guy. This guy, he'll move over here and start messing with us. I'm not a fan, but there's nothing I can do about it just yet. Let's see. Supreme Sorceress might not be a bad idea. What is this again? Beasts? I think Beasts wasn't bad, but I needed Beasts to be better. Malevolent when attacking. She's not going to be doing much attacking. Strategist for campaign movement range, Shadow of Naggarond, Shades and Dark Riders. Disciplined, Determined, Vicious, Harpies. We also have to pay attention to their loyalty. That's another thing the Dark Elves have, is the loyalty mechanic. So she gets negative 20 armor. She only has the 10, so it's not a huge minus. And the melee defense might be just useful enough to make me want this Death Sorceress. The issue is that her starting spell of Soul Leech is not going to be that useful. I mean, it's good against single entities, but they're not going to be something that we're going to be getting. And I think just the Fire Sorceress would be so much better. So I'm going to go with Strategist.
Supreme Sorceress of Grog.
Okay, we got lucky, so the loyalty is 7 out of 10, which is good. Money's not taking too much of a hit. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a couple of Bleak Swords and a Dark Shard unit. That'll be able to pretty much take out whatever comes up against us.
Never wrong.
Yeah, that Pestilent Breath is problematic, but we'll see if we can't take him out. Next turn. So SFO actually made some changes to the slavery mechanic, in that the slave decline rate is much faster. No need for non-aggressions. Basically, I think it halves at the end of each turn, so we're going to get some pretty major negatives. Yeah, so he's going to wander over there. Oh, not going to raid. So I guess kudos to him, he didn't decide to raid.
Skaven of destruction.
Okay, your lord has been caught secretly commissioning one of the court blacksmiths to create a sublime dagger enchanted with curses. So I can either lose 3,000, cut the smith's throat, and get a pretty awesome dagger, be gone. Bonus experience and loyalty. or stab the Lord, they become wounded. You get the dagger anyway, and they get a lot of experience. I think I'm going to go with Begone, because I kind of don't want them to go wounded. And on Stagger, it's good. Poison's not bad. The Dark Venom ability for 35 seconds is not bad also, but we'll just go with the Loyalty. Circlet of Iron quest issue. The great vortex falters. It is vulnerable, and the Witch King seeks to take advantage, to enter and channel its energies, to wrest the power of chaos from the gods themselves. Before Malekith can do this, he must imbue the Circlet of Iron, an ancient band older than the elves, with an unholy crux. While Malekith knows that a crux is needed before he can enter the vortex, frustratingly, he lacks knowledge of this arcane boon's location. He must consult an oracle kept by the sorceresses, and their services do not come cheap, even if you are the Witch King. So I have to get some battlefield captives to be able to unlock the Circlet of Iron.
King of Naggarond.
So let's go ahead and auto-resolve that and occupy Rakdos Scourge. Got the Forbidden Rod. We'll throw the Forbidden Rod onto our Sorceress so that Malekith doesn't take damage. And we will get Lightning Strike with that level up. So Malekith, magic resistance, some physical resistance and fear. We just got battle as business. So let's keep that going and get Chartered Piracy to increase the income from sacking settlements. And we can demolish that. And for now, demand Highborn Captives just to unlock this right, the sacrifice to end Thardy, which is going to increase growth, public order, slave decline rate is going to decrease, and the starting turn loyalty of lords, but we need to demand Highborn Captives for a turn.
Supreme Sorceress of Grond.
So that's a lot of infantry, so this guy
of
won't
the
be able to
Dark
take
Court.
out that much infantry. Maybe they will actually with a Burning Head. Maybe that's not so impossible, honestly.
What is your dark purpose?
I'll freak them out pretty good.
Cirrus.
I wonder if we can... It's just a 40% chance of ambush. So not actually high enough. So he might turn back and come back to Rakdos Scourge, which would be ideal for us. We're going to wait for that and upgrade Naggarond next turn, instead of upgrading the Rakdos Scourge. Since that's going to be better for us, it's going to open up some more opportunities. It's going to open up the ability where it's going to give us the torture posts, which is going to increase public order, and we're probably going to throw some slave pens in there to unlock the Black Arcs, the right of Mathland, which will unlock Black Arcs for us. But that's about the hour mark there, so we will... Let's call this one here. So I will thank everybody for watching, and we will see you all in the next episode. Have a good one.